Calisthenics. Christos genate doxasite, Christ is born, glorify him. Today, on Friday, December 29th, we remember the 14,000 infants, the holy innocents, slain by Herod in Bethlehem. Our righteous father Marcellus, Abbot of the Monastery of the Unsleeping ones, our righteous father Thaddeus, the Confessor, the Afterfeast of the Nativity, and St. George, Bishop of Nicomedia, poet of Asmaticons, Canons, and Trobaria. Regarding the 14,000 infants, the holy innocents slain by Herod in Bethlehem. Now, there are some theologians and historians that say that the number might not have been 14,000, may have been as low as 4,000, it may have been as low as 2,000. It really does not change the fact that innocent babies were killed on behalf of a sick king who was hell-bent on keeping power. The infant-slaying Herod mentioned here is the same one that ruled at the time of Christ's nativity. In those days, certain magi who were wise and noble men, perhaps even kings, set forth from the east and came to Jerusalem, seeking the king of the Jews, who had been born. And they said that in the east, where their homeland was, an unusual and strange star had appeared 2 years before, which, according to an ancient oracle, we see in Numbers 24:17, was to signify the birth of some great king of the Jews. For we have seen his star in the east, they said, and having come to worship him. Hearing these things, Herod was troubled, and the whole city together with him. Then, having inquired and been informed by the high priest and scribes of the people that according to the prophecies Christ was born in Bethlehem, he sent magi thither and ordered them that when they found the child to inform him, so that he also, as he affirmed, might go and worship him. But the magi, after they had worshipped, departed by another way to their own country by divine command. Then Herod was wroth, sent men to slay all the infants of Bethlehem and parts around about from 2 years old and under, thinking that with them he would certainly slay the king who had been born. But this vain man who fought against God was mocked, as Jesus the child, with Mary his mother, under the protection of Joseph betrothed, fled to Egypt at the command of an angel. As for those innocent infants, they became the first martyrs slain on behalf of Christ. But their bloodthirsty executioner, the persecutor of Christ, came down with dropsy after a short time, with his members rotting and being eaten by worms. He ended his life in a most wretched manner. Be entreated, O Lord, by the sufferings endured for you by the saints, and we pray you heal all our pain. When the king was born in Bethlehem, the magi arrived from the east with gifts guided by a star on high. But Herod was troubled and mowed down the children like wheat. He lamented that his power would soon be destroyed. Regarding our righteous father, Marcellus, Abbot of the Monastery of the Unsleeping ones. St. Marcellus was from the city of Abbot in Syria and was born of renowned parents. Adorned with virtue and learning, he succeeded St. Alexander to the abbacy of the Monastery of the Unsleeping about the year 460. This monastery was so named because the monks there were divided into 3 ranks and took turns in succession for the execution of the sacred services both day and night, and thus ceaselessly sent up praise to God without any lapse. The author of this particular practice was the aforementioned Alexander. As the biographer of both these saints writes, later a venerable monastery was established near the mouth of Pontus, that is, the place where the Black Sea tracks into the Bosphorus, and he introduced a rule that, though new, was superior to any found elsewhere. That is, that henceforth there should never be any cessation in the hymnody offered to God, but through an unbroken succession of those that served in turn, there should be achieved this continuous and unceasing glorification of our Master. The image of God was faithfully preserved in you, O Father, for you took up the cross and followed Christ. By your actions you taught us to look beyond the flesh, for it passes, rather to be concerned about the soul, which is immortal. Wherefore, O holy Marcellus, your soul rejoices with the angels. From St. Paul's letter to the Hebrews. Brethren, he who sanctifies and those who are sanctified all have one origin. That is why he is not ashamed to call them brethren, saying, I will proclaim thy name to my brethren. In the midst of the congregation I will praise thee. And again, I will trust in him. And again, here I am, and the children God has given me. As therefore the children share in flesh and blood, he himself likewise partook of the same nature, and through death he might destroy him who has the power of death, that is, the devil, deliver all those who through fear of death were subject to lifelong bondage. For surely it is not with the angels that he is concerned, but with the descendants of Abraham. Therefore he had to be made like his brethren in every respect, so that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in the service of God, to make expiation for the sins of the people. Because he himself has suffered and been tempted, he is able to help those who are tempted. Christ our God became a human being and saved us. Him becoming human is the reason why these 14,000 children were killed, these martyrs. And these innocents are in paradise rejoicing because Christ died to save them and us. From the Gospel according to St. Matthew. When the wise men departed, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, Rise, take the child and his mother, and flee to Egypt, and remain there till I tell you. For Herod is about to search for the child to destroy him. And he rose and took the child and his mother by night, and departed to Egypt, and remained there until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what the Lord had spoken by the prophet, Out of Egypt have I called my son. Then Herod, when he saw that he had been tricked by the wise men, was in a furious rage. And he sent and killed all the male children in Bethlehem, and in all that region who were 2 years old or under, according to the time which he had ascertained from the wise men. Then was fulfilled what was spoken by the prophet Jeremiah. A voice was heard in Ramah, wailing in loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children. She refused to be consoled because they were no more. The Orthodox Study Bible says that Jeremiah recorded the people of Jerusalem being led away to exile. On their way to captivity, they passed Ramah, which was near Bethlehem, where Jacob's wife Rachel lay buried. In his prophecy, Jeremiah saw Rachel, even from the grave, moved with compassion for the fate that had befallen her descendants. Here, Rachel is again weeping for her children, showing that the saints in heaven are awareness and have compassion for those yet on earth. These slaughtered children are regarded as saints and martyrs in the church and are known as the Holy Innocents. Just as Rachel was told that her children would return from exile in Babylon, so Jesus would return from his exile in Egypt. But when Herod died, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him. When Herod died, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, Rise, take the child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel, for those who sought the child's life are dead. And he rose and took the child and his mother, and went to the land of Israel. But when he heard Archelaus reigned over Judea in place of his father, he was afraid to go there. And being warned in a dream, he withdrew to the district of Galilee. And he went and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that was spoken by the prophets might be fulfilled. He shall be called a Nazarene. I hope that you've enjoyed today's Spiritual Calisthenics. Have a blessed and wonderful day.